All right, what's good, YouTube? It's your man King Ray Ray. Welcome back to the channel. I was thinking earlier about some of the things I had to change over the years, and there were quite a few of them. Then I thought about some of the things that I've seen other people have to change that I didn't struggle with. So I thought I'd make this a two-part series, and today I'm going to tell you about the things that you need to stop doing that I've seen other people have to start doing or stop doing. And a couple of these I myself also had to look into and make sure that I was doing the right thing myself. Now, here's what I want y'all to understand. I want y'all to keep one thing in mind. Our life is what it should be if we make it that way. And you make it that way by making adjustments in your life as you grow. And that's how you continue to grow, by making these adjustments in your life. So let's get into the show. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and subscribe now, because if you love this type of content, this is what we do every single day. The number one thing you need to stop doing now, especially if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, is over apologizing. Stop apologizing for things. How many times are you going to allow yourself to apologize for the same things? Every time you see this person, you apologize for something that happened years ago, most times. I'm going to apologize once. And if you don't accept that apology, fine. Me continuing to apologize is not the issue here. You finally accepting that one apology I did make. That's the issue here. You only get that one apology. Now, I'm only looking for one acceptance. And when you give me that one acceptance, we can start from there. If you don't, fine, but you won't get another apology. See, here's what over apologizing does. It guilt trips you continually about the same thing that you shouldn't even feel guilty about. Because a lot of times you're apologizing because people are in their feelings about something. People's feelings are hurt about something that you didn't intend for their feelings to be hurt about. But people will stop talking to you. They'll stop answering your calls. They'll talk bad about you. They'll do all kinds of things for something that you already apologized for. So stop over apologizing. Also, it proves that you haven't accepted yourself for who you are. Accept yourself for who you are. You let people believe what they want to believe and think what they want to think and say what they want to say about you. But what you do, you make sure that you accept you for you. Accept yourself. Then you don't have to apologize for how you are, for how you talk, for how you live, how you believe. You don't have to apologize for that. So stop over apologizing. It reeks of desperation to be included in circles and groups and cliques, when in actuality, all an apology does is make a person feel superior to you, while at the same time making you accept the sense of inferiority. You know what I mean? Because we're humans. In human nature, it's inferior to have to go to someone, stepping and fetching and kowtowing. And that's what that is. Like, you're going to someone from a position of inferiority and a slight bit of submission when you go to them and apologize for something that you've done. You're seeking them to validate you that you're a good person. And it's just not something that I advise you to do. The number two thing you need to stop doing is comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the enemy of peace. Comparison is the antithesis of self-love. You must stop comparing yourself to others. Now, if someone's doing something and it motivates you, that's different. If you're motivated for something because you want the same thing, you're already on the same path, that's different. But if you're looking at someone and, oh man, I wish I was them. I wish I had what they had. I wish I had this skill. I wish I had this car. I wish I had this home. I wish I had this family. I wish I had this knowledge. If you didn't compare yourself to them, then you be happy with yourself. The only comparison you should make in your life is comparing the new you to the old you, comparing the you today to the you of yesterday. That's all you can do every day. You must compare yourself to the version of yourself that you left in yesterday. That's how you grow. Comparing yourself to others, it'll take you off the path that you need to be on in life and have you pursuing things that weren't even meant for you. You understand how frustrating it must be to be pursuing things in life that weren't even meant for you, which means you're never going to get those things. So comparing yourself to others is something that you just have to stop. You have to stop it. All it's going to do is make you disappointed in your own life. You could be having an amazing life, but you're going to be disappointed in your life because you failed to stop comparing yourself to others. Just don't do it. Just don't. And others know it too. People know when you're comparing yourself to them, especially the people you know. The people you know, they know it. Why you think everybody's on social media posting all of these fantastic things, posting only the great parts of their lives? Because they know that people are out here envying what they see, not even knowing if it's the real thing. You never know what's going on inside someone's home. So it just doesn't make sense to compare yourself to what you think might be going on with them because of what they show. The number three thing that you need to stop doing, especially if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, is being allergic to peace and quiet. Peace and quiet is a phenomenal thing. Now, granted, when you're young, you're in your 20s, early 30s, you want to be on the scene. If you're not the life of the party, you certainly want to be at the party so you can see the life of the party and get the place hype and excitement, runs throughout the building. Yeah, you want to do that. But by the time you're in your mid 30s, 40s, it's time for you to understand the importance of peace. Understand how to hear yourself think. Some of the greatest ideas come when someone is allowed some time to hear themselves think. You can hear your mind if you learn to embrace the peace and quiet. You can become one with nature when you learn to embrace the peace and quiet. You can actually take in the beauty of the world when you learn to embrace and enjoy and appreciate peace and quiet. Sometimes I'll go somewhere, I'll go down to Miami or I'll go down to one of the Keys, Key West, Key Largo, Islamorada, somewhere around there, man. I go down there in one of those, man, and I'll just sit down there alone in quiet. I'll stop at the grocery store and pick up everything I need, and I'll literally wake up every day and just spend hours out on the deck looking at the ocean. I've seen sharks trying to eat dolphins. I've seen a bunch of things. I've seen so many things. Just sitting, enjoying the peace and quiet. Sometimes just enjoying the breeze. Enjoying a snail being up on the balcony and just wondering how he got all the way up there. And then picking him up and throwing him back down there into a tree, into some brush or some shrubs so he can find his way back to the ground where he belongs. Just enjoying life, man. Enjoying life. Just but listen, I was in Alamorada and I was in Key Largo. I was in Key Largo and just drove down to Key West on a day trip. Just drove down to the point of the United States and just looked out into the ocean, enjoyed the environment. They were having a costume party down there, and I just enjoyed the environment. Went to a spot, ate some nice um, fish almondine right off the ocean, looking at the ocean, man. Then I drove back up to Key Largo, and I just sat there again, and I just every day I just woke up doing that because I want you guys to understand how important it is to enjoy peace. Peace is what long life is made of. When you look at the places with the most centenarians, means the most people who live to be 100 years older or above, they live in peace and harmony with the earth. Those people grow what they eat. They don't do any partying or clubbing or doing any of that. They don't really take a whole lot of flights anywhere. Their life is right there on the soil where they live. And they love it. They love the peace of it, the quiet of it. Here, you get caught up in the rat race and you hate peace because you feel like there's no money in peace, where there's not any physical fiat currency in peace and quiet, but there's physical currency, there's mental currency, there's spiritual currency, there's emotional currency. So learn to enjoy the peace and quiet. The number four thing you need to stop doing, especially if you're in your mid 30s, early 40s, or older, stop being a people pleaser. You're too old to be a people pleaser. Being a young people pleaser until you figure out that's not the way to go. Yeah, you got a boss. Your boss is 50, you're 21. Yes, your boss is old enough to be your dad. So there's a certain way you interact with them. Your boss is old enough to be your mom, which is a certain way you interact with them. But man, when you're in your 40s and 50s, bro, there's nobody you're around on a daily that's old enough to be your mom and dad but your mom and dad. Stop being a people pleaser. Laughing at bad jokes by people you don't like. I'm gonna say that again because I want you to understand the the grandiose nature of what I'm saying. You're laughing at bad jokes by people you don't like. And you're a grown adult, 40 years old, laughing at bad jokes, still trying to fit in, still trying to blend in. Haven't figured out yet that the only place you blend is in your own life. You visit other people's lives. You only blend in your own life. You only fit in your own life. Stop being a people pleaser. No one likes a people pleaser. People pleasers always get talked about behind their backs. No one respects a people pleaser. No one appreciates a people pleaser. All people want to do is use a people pleaser to their own benefit. Stop being a people pleaser. If you're 35, 40, 45, 50, you're too old to be a people pleaser. There are not many things that you're too old for, but you're too old to be a people pleaser. You're young enough to play sports. You're young enough to have fun. You're young enough to travel. You're young enough to ride bikes. You're young enough to work out. You're young enough to swim. You're young enough to climb mountains. You're young enough to go skydiving. You're young enough to do a bunch of things. But you're not young enough to be a people pleaser. You're too old to be a people pleaser. And that's the thing that I want you to understand. So that's one of the, man, you talking about something that gives me the ick? That's it. Man, it's disgusting to be a people pleaser at that age. Stop doing it. The number 5 thing that you need to stop doing, if you're in your 40s, 50s, even 35, is ignoring your body's alarms and alerts. You don't have the time to play around. If you're feeling something different, something is different. The toll of you living the way you weren't supposed to live all of those years is finally coming to roost. You're starting to feel like a funny heartbeat, heart palpitation. Your heart ain't beating right. You might be feeling a little pain in your chest sometime. You might be feeling a little pain in your back sometime. You might notice you're going to the restroom more than you ever have. You may notice that the color of what you leave in the restroom when you leave out is a little bit different. You might notice your breathing is funny now. You can't even walk up a flight of stairs without getting tired now. You might notice there's aches and pains all over your body. All your joints are aching or something. All of those things, you may have noticed that, let's just say you and your wife have a little bit of trouble getting going. And it's not always her. These are things that you need to pay attention to. Your body is telling you, okay, now I've let you have your fun. Now you better get on a mission. I've let you have your fun. Now let's implement some discipline. Let's start to take better care of me now. I held you up all of this time. Now you take care of me. You give me what I need. I let you do what you wanted. Now it's time for us to do what we need. I'm here with you. If you give me what I need and do what you need to do, I'm going to recover and I'm going to be just like new. I'm going to be better than I ever could have been. But if you don't, we are going downhill fast. Ignoring your body's alarms and alerts is the quickest way to end up deceased. Quickest way. And it doesn't take a long time for it to happen a lot of times. You need to get into nutrition. You need to get into fasting. You need to get out of sugar. You need to cut back on the alcoholic beverages. I'm not even saying you need to stop. If you drink, cool, but you need to cut way back on it. It can't be a daily thing, and it can't be a weekly thing where you get absolutely toasted every week. It's got to be an occasional thing. And that's something you reward yourself with if you have had a phenomenal week of taking care of yourself. One day of having a little bit of something ain't going to destroy 6 days of taking care of yourself phenomenally. So you got to start living your life like that. Everything in moderation. All the things you did in heavy dosages, you need to do it in moderation. If you weren't getting the proper amount of sleep in heavy dosages, now you need to get the right amount of sleep all the time. If you're not going to get the proper amount of sleep, then you need to get the proper amount of rest. You know what I'm saying? If you're up late at night a lot and you got an early day job, you need to get a job that's a little bit early. Get you a night job. You need to do something. It's time for you to start understanding that your body is telling you everything that's wrong with it. And those alarms are telling you, okay, you got time to go. When you hear a fire alarm, that means you got time to go. When you hear a smoke alarm, that means you got time to go. When you hear a tornado alarm, a tornado warning, that means you got time to go. When you see a thunderstorm warning, that means you got time to go. When you hear some commotion going on somewhere and it's coming your way and there's some things going on that you know could cost you, you got time. Alarms are simply signs that you need to do something different. So do something different. And the sixth and final thing that you need to stop doing is over-explaining your ideas and beliefs. Here's the thing. We're always still grinding and growing and learning. But as you get older, you stop learning as much because you know so much. Unless you're just one of those people who wants to learn everything under the sun, even irrelevant things. I don't want to learn irrelevant things. Some things I don't care to learn. But I want to learn everything I can about the things I'm interested in. That takes a lifetime. So by the time you're 40, 45, 50 years old, man, you realize that what you need to know about the things you actually love, you know quite a bit. You know more than 98% of other people know about it. And in those times, yes, you may learn a little less, but you still have to stop over explaining your ideas because you're kind of set in your ways. Certain things are not going to change. Certain things I believe, certain things I stand on, they're never going to change. It's just the way it is. They're never going to change. Now, in other ways, I'm growing and learning because you can never learn everything you know. Let's say about the human body, you can never learn everything you need to know about it. Human behavior, you can never learn everything you need to know about it because there's so many different people and so many different people, and we're all so different. Um, that's just one of the things. So quit over explaining your ideas and beliefs. Beliefs for sure. Hey man, I stand where I stand with the Most High. What I know about God and me knowing God, that's all I stand on. I don't care what nobody else stands on. I'm not gonna have no discussion with you. I'm not gonna have no debate with you about where I stand on my relationship with Most High, how my relationship is, how my relationship was built, how my relationship is maintained, how his interaction with me. Hey, listen, I'm not trying to convince anybody of that, and I'm not going to be explaining it to you because really, most people who want an explanation of something, they're just trying to find a point that they can attack. They don't want an explanation for the pure joy of learning something new about you. They want to find something that they can attack. If you notice that, when you have a conversation with certain people, you have to be aware because they just want to know that. But I don't even give them the opportunity because I don't argue and debate and explain my ideas and beliefs. And those are the 6 things that I think you need to change. I'll come with 6 more on the next video, but these are the first 6 that came to mind. And I think that everyone, even if you're in your 20s, you should start working on these, which is a little bit more forgivable if you're in your 20s still, or even your early 30s. But you get into your mid 30s, 40s, 50s, it's time for you to stop doing all of these things. But there are even more. And we'll talk about those on the next show. All right. Y'all have a blessed one, man.